Hey, welcome back to Vox Terra. Today, I'm going to have on Sergeant Rockovich, a special guest today. You might like him. He's somebody who feels like he doesn't really fit in with Democrats, but he's still going to tell you, you know what, even if you don't like liberals and that kind of thing, or you're thinking, we got to give the Republicans a chance again, he's going to tell you why that's a bad idea to vote Republican right now at this juncture in history. Sarge? It's me, Sarge Rockovich. Listen, I don't care how much you hate libtards, woke, all that kind of thing, because it doesn't change the fact of what I'm gonna tell you. Your starting point for your political analysis needs to be the fact that we are trapped. We as in humanity are trapped in a system of buy, sell, buy, need it or don't, that is pumping our biosphere, our earth full of greenhouse gases, heat-trapping gases, and carcinogens. We got an epidemic of cancer, not to mention we are swimming in a sea of chemicals just to keep selling this stuff we don't really need. And our society is dominated by these very vested business interests like the petrochemical fossil fuel industries that are bringing on this crisis. So whatever the situation is economically speaking, the Republican answer has been the same. It's been cut taxes for the wealthy individuals, cut taxes for the corporations, then stimulate that economy by deregulating, getting rid of some of those very environmental protections, keeping us safer from some of these toxins we're pumping the earth full of. Unnecessarily so, in my opinion. And not just that, but open up those public lands to more drilling, more oil and gas explorations, and they shrink those national parks. Well, come on, how's that a solution? That's more of the same. That's what they do because they are dominated. Now, don't get me wrong, I know there's a lot of big business money going to Democrats, but if you look at open secrets, there's millions of dollars going from the fossil fuel industry to campaigns at the federal level every year. And the lion's share goes to Republicans. They are locked down by that industry. Now, let's just imagine you say, well, you know what? The Democrats aren't handling the economy well. I'm putting Republicans back in there. And magically, somehow inflation drops. And all of a sudden things seem, quote, normal again. Well, first of all, I got news for you. You're never going to seem normal again because our planet's heating up. And it's heating up from all this fossil fuel burning. So you want to get out of this situation the very way we got into it. You got some of these price spikes are also because of all this heat and this extreme weather. Everything's getting tougher now. Well, second of all, if they somehow do bring it down, that inflation, I want you to think about all those so-called right-wing conspiracy theories you might hear folks like Alex Jones putting out there or QAnon. Well, how come their conspiracy theories are always aimed at Democrats? Let's take a little think here, because if prices magically come down if you put Republicans back in there, then doesn't that say that possibly some of these wealthy individuals and wealthy corporations, that's what they want you to do? And then you are capitulating. That conspiracy seems more plausible to me than some of the other ones I hear. Now look, if you are a culture warrior and you're worried about things like abortion or maybe some of these medical procedures you're hearing about, you got to keep in mind that many of these toxins we are exposed to also affect the fetuses. They also cause low fertility and low birth weight, but the media barely talks about it because that media is all largely owned by big business interests or wealthy individuals who want us to just tear it up over some culture war issue because that's easier for them. You cannot afford to put a party back in power that is so dominated by those fossil fuel interests. Our planet's getting too hot, amigo, and it ain't turning back. That ice is going and it ain't coming back. We gotta transition away now. We can't afford to play around with more of the same. And while it's true Biden's been a letdown to many in that regard, that's why I told you vote for Bernie, because he could have at least made the stand publicly and rallied the public in ways Biden couldn't. But hey, you went with Biden instead. So now that's what we got. And at least under the Democrats, they're more receptive to those of us who care about the environment. And you just look at League of Conservation voters. If you're not believing the Sarge, and it'll show you, look at their voting records, compare Republican and Democrat. Remember, the environment is real. It exists in objective reality. That's why you gotta prioritize it. Some of this other stuff we can argue about for now and for the next 1,000 years if we can survive. So hey, I hope you found this helpful, and listen to the Sarge. And even if you hate those liberals and you don't like all that woke stuff, you're still stuck voting Democrat, or at least not voting Republican at this juncture in history. Let me give it back to the host. Well, hey, I hope you found Sarge Rockovich's take interesting, informative, and helpful, and maybe, amusing. I don't know if they didn't laugh at him too much, or anyhow, let me know. And until next time, make sure you're subscribed, you're commenting, you're liking, and as always, please donate to Patreon. And as always, peace be with you.